Hi, this is Margaret, and we are going to start drawing an elevation today. So first we want to look at what is an elevation drawing. And when you look at these, they look kind of fancy. They look like there's a lot going on there. But actually, these are working drawings for a contractor to use to build from. That's all they are. And I want to show you a contrast between a design drawing and a working drawing. These are from the author of our book. So at the top of this slide, you see something that is not a working drawing. This is a presentation drawing like you would do if you were designing house plans and you had a client and you wanted to show them what their house would look like. You might draw it in color, and look what else you do. You draw shadows to make it look real. Some people put glass reflections. This one doesn't have that, but often they do. And this one has entourage, which means people, cars, landscaping, things that give you some sense of scale and some sense of life. So this is a presentation drawing, but that's not what we're doing. We're doing a drawing like is shown on the bottom here. Here's the same house, but notice it's not in color. There's no entourage. There's no shadows. This is just a straight-on view of the building that tells the contractor what kind of siding and roofing and so forth they're going to put on there. An elevation view will give them some basic heights. It will give them the roof pitch, that is the slope. And next week we're going to talk in more detail about what roof pitch is and why you make that symbol there. And the elevations give the contractor notes about the materials. So for example, with the roofing, you might tell them, first of all, what kind of underlayment are they going to use, and then what kind of shingles are they going to use. How to draw them. You start with the floor plan. Like in the drawing that you're going to be doing, you have a floor plan of your house, and now using construction lines, you project lines outward from the floor plan, depending on which side it is you want to draw an elevation of. Or you might have a roof plan. Here's a fancy, maybe Southern Californian style, projecting lines from a roof plan. And then each of those views that you've projected, you rotate them into the proper orientation. So the ground is on the bottom and the roof is on the top. It's useful to imagine having your house inside a glass box. Here we have on the left a drawing of a glass box and there's a house inside. And now imagine you went around to each side of that box and you looked straight on at the building and you traced what you saw right onto the glass. So on the top, looking straight down, you would see something that looked like this. That happens to be the plan view of the roof. This side here happens to be an elevation. You're looking straight on at the side of the building. And then after you have in your imagination traced what you see on each flap of the glass box, you unfold the box and look what you're left with. You have elevations all aligned in a row, and you have a plan view. Depending on what you're drawing, you might only need 3 elevations. You might need a front and a back and one side, for example. If you are drawing on a D-size sheet, a big piece of paper, and you have room for all 4 elevations, you might put, now thinking about the flaps of the glass box again, you might think about, okay, here's the rear of the house, and that side of the house that would unfold, and then down below here's the front elevation of the house and that side that would unfold. Here is our book telling us that in some fancy situations, like here they've got a courtyard in here, you might have to draw some extra elevations just to show what's going on there. We don't have to do that with our house. I'm just showing you this sometimes happens. Now, we always label our elevations, and we label them with the direction that that side is facing. So if you are drawing an elevation of the east side of the building, the side facing east, that is called the east elevation. If you are drawing the south side of the building, the side that's facing south, that's called the south elevation, and so forth. If you're doing one of those deals where you're making house plans and you don't have a site yet, you're kind of doing production house plan work, then you may not know which side is north and south and so forth. So in that case, then you just label front, rear, right, left. I just want to caution you that a building should always be fit to its site. So we don't really want to just draw building objects and plop them down on the land. That doesn't work out too well. We want first to have a site and to do a site analysis and analyze our site and know exactly what we're dealing with, and then we design a building that fits to that site. And in addition, if you know which direction is south, for example, you can take advantage of sunlight with south-facing windows and reduce the amount of heating that you have to do. So you always put a label under each elevation. This guy did front elevation because he didn't know what direction it was, but we'd try to say north elevation and so forth. And then you always write the scale of the elevation. And usually, whatever scale your floor plan was, that's the scale that your elevation will be. So the one that you're drawing, you're probably doing a floor plan at 3/16 of an inch to a foot, so your elevation will be that same scale, so that the reader can coordinate those drawings.